you by Xfinity, changing the way you watch sports on TV. Beautiful day for baseball. The wind, which was blowing straight in the ball game yesterday, which kept it to 4 runs total between the two teams, today is blowing toward the left field corner. So it's going to aid any fly ball going to left or left center field, and of course line drives will always go out.
Well, yesterday you were a bit of a prophet because before the game started you said the wind probably would be more beneficial to us than it was them, and of course when Rizzo hit that bomb with the bases loaded, if the wind hadn't been blowing in, it'd been halfway up those seats.
No, that's going pretty much to the clock. But yes, and you know, look, you're facing a team that's built with a whole lot of power, and the Cubs have hit many more home runs than our Sox. So with the wind blowing in, it very much favors a team that doesn't have the prolific home run hitters. Today, it's just the opposite, and the wind is blowing toward left, aiding the right-hand hitters. And both of these teams have very strong right-hand hitters. We saw yesterday with Matt Davidson. So with the Cubs taking the field, it's time now for a White Sox Dunkin' Donut lineup. America runs on Dunkin'. And this is the way Ricky Renteria is going to line them up for Game 2 of this home-and-home series. Melky Cabrera leading it off, and then Jose Abreu in the 2 spot. With Avi Garcia hitting 3, Matt Davidson on a 7-game hitting streak with that 460-foot bomb yesterday hitting cleanup. And it's Yoan Moncada, Tim Anderson, Omar Narvaez, Adam Engel, who also homered yesterday in a line drive rocket to left center, and Carlos Rodon. The defense, and now Joe Madden is lining up his Cubs, and it's a different lineup with a left-hander starting. Ian Happ, Albert Almora, Ben Zobrist in the outfield, Chris Bryant, Addison Russell, Javier Baez, and Anthony Rizzo in the infield with Wilson Contreras behind the plate, and John Lackey on the hill. Last time out against Atlanta, he was very good. This is his 19th start. He is 6-9, his ERA just over 5. Opponent's batting average is .264, which is pretty good, and you see 25 home runs allowed. That probably will swell before this outing is over. The umpires for the game this afternoon: Lance Barksdale has the plate, John Tumpain is at first, Ted Barrett, the crew chief, is at second, and Angel Hernandez is at third. So with the temperatures in the low 70s, absolutely perfect weather for this ball game here this afternoon, and then the venue will shift to Guaranteed Rate Field tomorrow. 2 night games at the Sox ballpark, as the Cubs will just made that short trip across town for the finale of the home-and-home series. There are some Sox fans, and a lot of them in attendance. And so they're throwing the ball around the infield, which means that we're ready to play baseball, and that means it's time for me to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Stoney. Thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox Baseball right here with WGN Sports. So happy you could join us. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours, and you say short trip. That's the longest 8.1 miles I have ever driven in my life.
Well, depending on the traffic, can be a little difficult.
Plus the destination. So here we go. Cabrera hitting at .293, 13 homers, 56 driven in. 1 for 5 yesterday, and the big 38-year-old veteran, he's a man at 6'6", 235, and there's first pitch strike.
John's going to have to make some concession to the aging process, although he still goes right at hitters.
Yeah, as long as he's out on that bump, he's going to go after him.
He's a very aggressive guy, but yeah, what he was saying was, because again of the aging process and this being a game of attrition, he wants to throw more breaking balls.
Well, you can be aggressive with a breaking ball if you know how to set it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And John has been around a long time with a lot of postseason experience. Last time, a decent enough year at 11-8, but an ERA of .335. That was good. 2015 was St. Louis. His ERA was .277. He was 13-10. So he's on the second year of a 2-year contract.
Another souvenir. Well, when you're over 500 and you pitched in the big leagues for a few years, you are a good pitcher.
He's a lot over 500.
38 games over 500.
176 and 135 overall.
Now another foul ball. So This doesn't do Abreu, who's on deck, any harm. Seeing more and more pitches before he steps in that batter's box.
And you just as soon get Lackey out of there and get into the pen, especially early. It's going to be at the minimum a 7-pitch at bat, which is ideal for a leadoff hitter, as Melky is playing the leadoff role to perfection.
All right, 1 out. All right, now let's check out our picks to click. Fans went with Melky. Drew's going with Davidson. Steve's going with Narvaez and David Novak and all the great folks. Poogie Hyundai and Downers Grove, we're going to go with Adam Engel. And before each game, visit WhiteSox.com/picks and select your White Sox position player of the game.
John will occasionally dip down sidearm to the right-hand hitters. Doesn't do it often, but that's one of the things he tries to do to change their eye level.
And that got him.
So Jose, who has been hit quite a bit, in fact, that's the 9th time he's been hit this year. This got him on the forearm. I talked to him about padding up the lead elbow, and he told me that it's just uncomfortable for him. Some hitters can do it, some hitters can't. More hitters these days are doing it than aren't. Jose still old school, no padding.
Well, with Lackey, that might have been because Rizzo got hit yesterday, just grazed.
Might have been, but Rizzo gets hit a lot.
Well, I know.
He's right on top of the plate.
That's going to be a tough play, but he makes it. Good play by Chris Bryant. 2 down.
And Bryant, knowing that Avi hustles each and every play, had to come in. He only had one play, that being the first. And a heads up, Anthony Rizzo fires to second base, thinking maybe, just maybe, Jose would round the bag, but
that's a good, smart play.
It's a very smart play, because many times guys will, especially with the play behind him, they're going to take a couple of extra steps. Before you know it, he's out, and Lackey would have been out of the inning.
So here's Davidson, who had a tremendous home run here yesterday. He's hitting .247, leading the club with 19 homers, and he's driven in 44. And here at Wrigley, .355 down the left field line. .353 down the right field line. .368 in the gaps, and .400 straightaway center. Got in on him, good pitch. So that'll retire the side, and then the top half of the first, no score.
Zobrist, Bryant, and Rizzo at the top, with Contreras, Happ, and Almora in the middle. Then Baez, Russell, and John Lackey rounding it out. The defense, and how they're going to line up behind Carlos Rodon. It's Melky, Adam, and Abasail in the outfield, with Davidson, Anderson, Moncada, and Abreu in the infield. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate, and Carlos Rodon on for his 5th start of the year. There you look at the numbers. They haven't been as he would have liked, but 20 strikeouts and 20 innings plus is pretty good. He has allowed 5 home runs. There you look at the rest of the averages, and this for him is spring training. It's very difficult. He's only thrown a little over 20 innings.
So here's Zobrist, 36-year-old veteran, hitting at .219, 8 homers, 30 driven in. But he's been swinging the bat better lately.
A lot better from the left side than he is from the right.
Cubs come in hitting at .245. Our guys hitting at .258. Cubs with a .404 team ERA. Our guys with a 4.01.
Zobrist hitting just .125 right-handed. He's only had 56 at-bats. He's only had 7 hits as a righty.
Make it 8. Well, the leadoff double.
Zobrist takes it right down the line, and then it takes a most unusual bounce. Ellis tries to get that fastball inside, didn't get it in far enough, and he rifles it by Davidson at third, who had no chance this time. And then the ball kicks right back toward the infield. This ball is still in play. Zobrist still made it into second base.
So here's Bryant. Chris, 280, 19 long ones and 42 driven in, but he's got a job to do, especially after losing the opener yesterday. First thing you want to do here, if you are wearing that white uniform, is get on the board first.
You
that wasn't to get on the.
As you say, you think Bryant is going to try to hit the right field? Because I don't think Joe Madden wants him to.
Why? He can hit the ball to seats out there,
easily,
halfway up.
He can hit it easily out.
If you can do that, yeah, he should go to right field. Off the left-hander, especially. If he hits it, it doesn't make any difference where he's playing. Here, O'Hare, Midway.
No, he's got big power. And if Carlos can end this at bat, with Zobrist still at second base, retiring Bryant, it will be a successful at bat. He's got a few more miles per hour yet. He's not really loosened up because his fastballs have been anywhere from 91 to 94. He can get it up there when he's feeling good, 97, 98, although that might be a little overly optimistic for this just his 5th start of the year.
Yeah, I would think it is.
I think it's a good time for that wipeout slider. He wants to throw it anywhere from 87 to 90. He wants to make it look like a fastball before it disappears low and in.
Well, it's a good count to it.
Yep, it is.
To do it.
And it is a strikeout pitch if he can get it there.
He gone.
There it is. So good wipeout slider, and Bryant is out, and Zobrist is standing at second. Very successful at bat. A wipeout slider from Carlos. Well, when Todd Frazier was playing against him, and he was still with Cincinnati, he faced Carlos Rodon and said that that wipeout slider he throws is as good as any single pitch that he has seen from anybody. And you just saw it there.
Here's Rizzo. 1 for 3 yesterday, hitting at .252. Moncada out there in short right field. Zobrist 1 for 1 in stolen bases. He's just got a short lead for the positioning of Anderson.
Rizzo's been hit 17 times. He's right up on the plate. Early in his career, he had monumental problems with left-hand pitchers. But then he made the adjustment, and now he's pretty good against the lefties.
Well, if you're having trouble against left-handers and you're a strong left-handed hitter and you're standing off the plate, you better make an adjustment, and you better make it by moving close to the plate. And the greatest example of that was Mets Cardinals had a first baseman named Keith Hernandez, who was a good one.
Pretty good one.
He made that adjustment, and he won a batting championship in the National League. So 1 out, 2 on, and here comes a good-looking young 25 player, 25-year-old. He's Wilson Contreras. I tell you, this is a young team. I mean, you got Bryant 25, Rizzo 27, Contreras 25, Happ 22, Almore 23, Baez 24, Russell 23.
Yep.
They're going to be around for a while.
They certainly have a great combination of youth, and they're very talented. One place, however, they're looking for help, and the rumor mill is in full swing. They need a backup catcher, a veteran backup catcher to help Contreras. Although Caratini they like his progress so far, he's not the guy they want to lead him.
Well, it's 2-0, 3-0. Contreras, his 16th, and that didn't take long to leave the park.
.1655 on the power numbers. We told you that Carlos was having a hard time keeping the ball in the ballpark, and that one would have gone out of any park. Contreras hit a bomb. We'll watch it again. Let's throw a fastball inside. Doesn't get it there, but Contreras knows it's gone when it left the bat. That's way back there.
So here's Happ.
Ian Happ out of the University of Cincinnati. And he's a switch hitter who's been a little better from the right side this year. However, his power is left-handed.
Well, he's got 13 homers, 34 knocked in, hitting at .252.
He's really an all-purpose player for them. Playing outfield today, he's also played a lot of second base. Took a little something off that slider, and he fouled it off.
That's one of the quickest home runs we've seen all year. That one got out here just about as fast as anything we've seen all season long.
Yeah, he's a strong one, and they love him as their #1, but they need a veteran as they move down the stretch, and that veteran, and just remember the names of Alex Avila, who appears to be available from Detroit.
Swinging the bat well.
Very well, and Jonathan Lucroy. Those are the two guys mentioned prominently.
Lucroy is he gone. I would think it would be easier to get Avila than Lucroy.
But Lucroy is going to be a free agent. Avila has another year in this contract. That's the man, as far as his ceiling, he's not there yet. He's still got plenty of room to grow, and he'll be frightening if he does take the next step forward.
Almora. Albert playing center field. Hitting at .278, 4 homers. He's driven in 18. As I mentioned, he's just 23 years old.
Almora is an elite defender. And they believe he's going to be a good hitter before it's over.
And a reminder, the White Sox are offering a limited edition Cancer Ribbon White Sox cap. Now $10 from every cap sold will aid Chicago White Sox charities and Rush University Medical Center in supporting cancer research. And the caps are available in the park and at the Chicago Sports Depot starting tomorrow. So get your hat and join the team for a great cause. Watch out on deck.
Albert last year split his year between AAA and these Cubs. You can go get him with anybody in center field. But last year with Dexter Fowler out there most of the time, Almora did not get a whole lot of play. He appeared in 47 games, only had 112 at bats. He came in a lot for defense late. This year getting more of an opportunity.
All right, 3-run homer by Contreras. Best thing about it, we got 8 more innings to go.
Presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media because Nationwide is on your side.
Here's Moncada. 1 for 5 yesterday. Takes first pitch strike. Outfield straight up, spread out. Just a small gap out there in left center. That made a good pitch on him. Got soft ground ball. So 1 out. And a reminder, you can get on-demand access to the games you can attend with a White Sox Flex Pass. Now purchase 10 lower-level tickets for $200 or 10 upper-level tickets for $70 and have the flexibility to redeem tickets to an upcoming game right from your phone. So for more information, whitesox.com/FlexPass. Tim Anderson hitting at .243. 1 for 4 yesterday.
One of the things that it doesn't help you very much is to consistently take the first pitch, because John Lackey is one of the premier strike throwers on the first pitch. So he's going to be around the plate. It's one of the reasons why he's given up the 25 homers.
Attaboy. Right back to the middle for our first hit.
He just reaches out, takes this slider away, and takes it right back up the middle. Now, Tim's got to be very careful of Contreras, because he will throw anywhere. We saw that yesterday. Threw to first, he threw to second, trying to pick off base runners. You can normally get a good lead on John Lackey.
And Darryl Boston just telling him the same thing. Hang loose, be careful.
What catchers like to do is, with a left-hand hitter up especially, they love to go behind the left-hand hitter with preferably something inside.
You didn't see a whole bunch of that in years past until Ivan Rodriguez came into play, so to speak.
He was exceptional at it.
That's the reason he's in Cooperstown.
You drop to one knee and flip behind the base runner as John Lackey came pretty close at first base, although Tim got back ahead of the tag.
Outfield spread out. There's the strike. It's when you get an active catcher behind the plate. Contreras certainly is that. We talked about it yesterday. With the Ivan Rodriguez, you had Yadier Molina, you had the Tony Peñas, you had guys. They were fun to watch. They were really fun to watch behind the plate.
When you consider that if you can take 3 feet or so off the secondary lead, you're going to save yourself a base here and a base there. Eventually, it could wind up winning you a baseball game if you got a catcher that'll shorten up that lead.
Well, it's the same thing as a right fielder who stops guys from going from first to third.
Normally, they have one of those in Jason Hayward, but he's not playing today against the lefty.
Good rip by Omar. Meanwhile,
here's a look at Hayward.
2-2.
That has a day off. Normally he plays against the left-handers. There are certain ones that Joe Madden will sit him down, give him a day off. Today is one of those days.
There he goes. And look at this. Is that right out? You know, that is a great call right there by Rick, because he's doing that on the pitch. He's thinking he was going to throw him a fastball on 2-2. He did throw him a fastball on 2-2, so he puts it on. That is just a terrific call.
Well, Tim Anderson picking up the baseball, sees it. Now he's thinking about scoring. This was a good piece of base running by Anderson as he came into third base very aggressively. Magallanes has to slow him down. He's waiting to see if Almora gets to the ball quickly. He does. And you see Magallanes just pointing, stay right here, pointing to the bag. The ball is now in the infield.
Well, there's a situation where he. Now let's just take it to the other side of the page. If you got a pitcher out there on a 2-2 to Omar Narvaez, has got a real good breaking ball who can maybe throw it in the dirt, then you would still put it on, or maybe just the steal. But with Narvaez there in a 2-2 count, he's going to throw him a fastball. Ricky said, good. Let him throw him the fastball. The shortstop's going to cover, and now he has the right to vacate his spot.
As soon as I saw where the ball was going, because I was looking in at Contreras, knowing it was a fastball away, then it's tailor-made. You don't have.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't see that, but it is tailor-made for it. And Lackey does not get the call.
Billy Martin used to do that. Billy Martin, for you youngsters out there, was a manager who, for a long period of time, was as good a manager as ever in the game of baseball. And he would do it on the pitch rather than the runner or the speed of the runner. He would do it on the pitch because all of a sudden, watch out! You got to be careful with Contreras behind that plate.
It's pretty close, as it was almost a delayed throw, seeing that Anderson came off on the bunt and wasn't hustling back to the bag. He decided to take a shot at him. He doesn't get him. But again, shorten up the secondary lead.
But getting back to the pitch, that's the way you can make a slow runner a lot faster. Is have a breaking ball pitcher out there and the count, and you figure he's going to throw one down, maybe in the dirt, maybe it's going to come up, hit the catcher in the chest. It makes that that runner at first base a heck of a lot faster if he's moving. Got him. Strikes out. Big strikeout, 2 down.
He got the hittable pitch on 3-1, and that was a slider away. Big expansion of the zone, and you saw a veteran pitcher taking advantage of a very young hitter.
So here's Carlos. He's been on the plate one time this year. He's 0 for 1. Look at this. That's a tweener. Nobody's going to get it. And that's going to score a pair, and it's a 3-2 ball game on the bullet rocket double by Carlos Rodon. Yeah.
He had a first ball fastball. It was right down the middle. And John Lackey, never thinking about the fact that Rodon could hit a ball that hard. That's his first major league hit. First ball fastball down the middle and crushed into right center field. So that makes things a little more entertaining at 3-2.
As we said last inning, we have 8 more innings to go. So here, don't stop now, boys. Cabrera takes the strike. Had an extended at bat leading off the ball game before finally hitting a little nubber out to the mound. Ball gets away. And Carlos in the third. Now that should help, not as much as with some pitchers, but it should help Melky have a little more of a sense of control up there, knowing that it probably won't be another one down low in the dirt.
That's the 5th wild pitch of the year for Lackey, as that breaking ball gets away and Contreras can't smother it. Carlos Rodon now 90 feet away as you look at Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, and a good one.
Yes, he is. Ryan. But Carlos Rodon helping out his cause, knocking in a pair with a double in the right center field, and it's a 3-2 Cub lead.
Have been very good. In fact, they've been the best in baseball winning percentage-wise. You see them at 16-6. The Dodgers right there at 22-10. Then the Nationals, the Rockies, and the Tigers, following the Cubs at the top.
So here's Javier Baez. 272, 12 homers, 39 driven in. Javier was 1 for 3 yesterday. Takes first pitch strike. Three runs, 2 hits for the Cubs. 2 runs, 3 hits for our Sox.
That slider in the dirt will work very well here, as Baez, still a very aggressive hitter, swings at a whole lot of pitches out of the zone. He took that one. Baez has fanned 78 times this year, just 272 at bats.
He gone. 4 strikeouts now as Carlos struck out the side in the first.
4 strikeouts in the last 3 in a row after the Contreras home run, and the high fastball out of the zone gets Javier Baez, who doesn't know about shortening the stroke with 2 strikes.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, but then all of a sudden my senses came to me and you never probably got there.
2 strikes?
After you hit a double and you're on the base paths running.
Yeah.
How did you feel going back at that? But you didn't ever hit a double.
No. Well, I hit a couple of doubles, not too many. I hit one in this ballpark that hit the bottom of the wall in right field, as close as I came to home run.
You can go to hell for lying like you can't for stealing.
And I think they released Pete Falcone right after that hit. I don't even think they let him finish the inning.
Addison Russell, another outstanding looking youngster at just 23 years. Last year at the age of 22, hit 21 homers and drove in 95.
He came over in a deal that sent Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hamill to Oakland. They got their #1 prospect, who was Addison Russell, who has certainly proven to be every bit of that. He's had some shoulder issues.
Softly in the right field. Watch out, Avi. And they say no catch.
And Avi wants him to take a look at it. Avi thinks he made the play, although it looked like it might have been a trap, but hopefully it did stick in the glove, and they're going to take one more look at it.
Well, couldn't tell from up here.
We'll take a look. Avi. Nah,
that's a trap.
Looked like a trap from here, and it is a trap.
Yep. So the 1-out double. The Kansas City special by Addison Russell. Made a good pitch. Did Carlos and comes up empty.
Carlos has 3 walks in each of his last 6 games, which will not be the case when he has a normal spring training.
2-0 to Lackey, who's going to try to return the favor.
When your average and your on base percentage is the same number, you don't have a lot of power. 147 is not a bad batting average for a pitcher.
Now you're just trying to justify something.
No, it's not. I would like to have been there, but I got to 100. And then my big
that
bet
was enough.
My big bet was silenced, hitting 100 even.
You went into a bit of a funk.
Oh yeah.
Three and one. Well, you're the poster child, like as we talked about, because that's the most misleading stat in baseball is the batting average.
I hit a soft 100.
Well, that's different. Second walk, and a reminder that the 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. So for low mortgage rates from your hometown lender, check out our rate at rate.com today. Here's Oberst. Hit a shot right down the third base line for a double. John Jay did it yesterday. Put a veteran play on with a bunt. Only Jay's was perfect.
And that bunt yesterday for Jay was outstanding, knowing that he was facing a left-hander, and because of the shift, there was nobody home on the left side. He just put it down there and had a big day. That capped off a big day for Jay. 4 for 4. Yeah, with the one double the first time up.
Big gap out there in right center. Two on, one out. last couple. Another double, and it's 4-2.
RBI number 31 on a fastball, and Zobrist drills it right over the head of Moncada at second. That's going to bring Don Cooper out from the dugout. Every Cub hit today has been an extra base hit. 3 doubles and a 3-run homer by Contreras. But all of those probably Carlos Rodon will pale in comparison to walking the pitcher here with Russell at second base and 1 out.
Two-way visit right there by Coop. Try to settle him down, plus give him a little breather after running the bases. Lance Barksdale, in between innings, right in the middle of Carlos's warm-ups, went out there, said a couple things to him, giving him a little bit of time to catch his breath. Bryant struck out his first trip. Ducks on the pine, 1 out. What a gorgeous day in a beautiful city. Beautiful.
Hard to believe you got the temperatures of the last couple of days. Been in the low 70s 2 straight days here at the end of July. You don't see that very often.
Well, oh, nice catch.
That was a good catch.
Yeah. The ball had a little muster on it too. 2-2.
Now Carlos and Omar cannot get on the same page as Bryant has called timeout twice.
He gone. 5 strikeouts, big out, 2 down.
That ball was a good foot outside. And this gives you an idea that Carlos just doesn't have a good feel for it, because Narvaez was set up inside and he missed his spot by 3 feet.
So here's Rizzo. He walked and scored last inning. Did you have some place that you went to in a situation like that where you had last year's MVP and a very dangerous hitter at the plate and you couldn't get on the same page with the catcher?
Sure. I mean, that happens a lot.
What was your first thought after, if you couldn't, and without the vulgar language?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, in different words, certainly, but I used to always impart on my catcher that as soon as he shows me the column that says losing catcher, I'll let him call the game. But that column says losing pitcher, so I want to call a game.
That's perfect. You know why? Because if you had somewhere to go, that gave you that sense of control.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. Not much you can do. Sometimes, you know, you're going to throw the pitch you feel really good about, and the guy's going to hit it 8 miles. And for Carlos today, again, we talked about it, but it can't be overstated. It is his spring training. This is just his 5th start. Guys will get 5 starts or 6 starts in spring training. So for Carlos, he just doesn't have the good feel, and that's to be expected.
2 balls and a strike to the 27-year-old first baseman.
Got his way back out on the grass at second base with Anderson playing up the middle.
You got first base open, which you definitely don't want to walk him. He's left-handed hitter. But you got 2 good shots and trying to make a good pitch.
And once again, they cannot get on the same page. You notice Rizzo is doing something that you just love. I know that, and that is in a 2-strike situation especially, but with a lefty-lefty, he's choking way up on the bat. So he's looking for some contact here. You see him right there. I mean, he's up there as far as anybody. And for a power hitter and a run producer, I mean, you're talking about 23 and 62 on the power numbers. That in itself is a way to shorten your swing. He is up there.
Well, that's the Joey Votto.
That had the plate. Didn't get the call.
Well, that's just. That's just bad, is what it is. That's all it is. That's just bad. He gone. 6 strikeouts. They do get 1, and they lead it 4-2.
$7,999 right now, and the 300th texter is going to win a $30 gift card to a Subway restaurant in the Chicagoland area. Subway, so much sandwich.
Well, on this date back in 2010, a great player was inducted into the, and really I think for the most part overall one of the most under the radar great players we've ever had in this game. He was inducted in Cooperstown.
How about the Hawk?
Yes, good. Yes,
the Hawk could
Andre
really
Dawson.
do it. And you've always talked about going up and getting high fastballs, either using a tomahawk method or whatever you have to do. But he could go up and get high fastballs at any velocity, which is something that guys just don't do much anymore.
Here's one of the 2 best I ever saw at that. The other was Vladimir Guerrero. So here is Abreu. What a great player, Andre Dawson. I remember a picture of him. You got a nice little bounce there. Nice shift right there by Rizzo. So 1 out. But I remember a picture of the Hawk back in 1986 when there was a rumor that he was coming to the White Sox. Somebody took a picture of him in the Montreal clubhouse with a White Sox hat on.
That would have been a pretty good addition because the next year is
49 home runs.
When he won the MVP. But the most amazing part about it was I was talking to a representative at the time of the ball club, of the Chicago Cub ball club, who went to Montreal to take a look at Andre Dawson. He came back and I said, "What do you think?" He goes, "He's got a bad knee." I said, "If he didn't have a bad knee, he'd never be a free agent. You'd never get him. There's no chance to get him." Of course he's got a bad knee. He's had that for years. But what a player he was.
And as I said, probably the most under the radar great player in our lifetime.
Well, every aspect of the game. If it wasn't for the bad legs, he could steal as many bases as he wanted to. Had a great arm in right field and big power.
Next year, 49 home runs and won the MVP with a last place ball. 1-2.
Bobby can lay off that high fastball. He's going to have a wonderful second half. Here's a fastball away.
That finger still bothering him a bunch. He is spending a lot of time before the game and after the game with Bernstein.
See it again. Good spot for it. Didn't exactly hit the outside corner, but certainly good enough with some late movement. Anytime a hitter has any hand or wrist problems at all, not only is it going to take a long time, but even when they come back and are healthy, it's going to take away something from the way they swing the bat. It just has to.
So here is Matt Davidson. Got hit on the fist. Hit a little soft ground ball to Russell at shortstop. Checks it up and takes a strike.
Pretty good slider by Lackey.
It's the best one he's thrown today.
Late breaking.
That's why that was the best one. Guys don't mind a big slider because it's going to break early. But those little sliders that break the late breakers, those are the ones that eat you alive.
Look, hitters' eyes are like a computer. They know exactly what it takes to get the good part of the bat through the strike zone and hit the ball on the sweet spot. So anything a pitcher can do to disguise that pitch, and again, with the hitter's eyes like the computer, knowing what it takes to get out there, that little late breaking slider moves it just from the sweet spot of the bat to the outside part of the bat, in which case your best bolt's a ground ball or a little pop-up.
Well, the best sliders that I ever faced were late breakers that only broke maybe 3 inches.
That's how it was invented originally. And guys now want more depth and bigger breaks, but they called it a nickel curve in those days because it did break 3-4 inches, but it did it quickly and late. And when it does that combination of late and quick breaking, then you got a problem.
Chops that one foul. Ever Magallanes in for Nick Capper down at third base. Nick, knock on wood, recovering very nicely, thank you, from those back problems. Also want to send out a big White Sox hello to one of our favorite people, one of our co-workers, still feeling a little under the weather, and that's Pete Catazone. Mike Mazza and Pete, I tell you, they do such a great job in that ticket department. Guaranteed rate field. All that whole crew. And that'll retire the side. It is still 4-2 Cubs.
And it came off the bat of Wilson Contreras in the first inning. He got a low fastball inside and hit it a mile. Tyler made it a 3-0 game. Now stands at 4-2. Visit your local Ford store, buyfordnow.com.
You know what that home run reminded me a little bit of? One of Dave Winfield's. Just a rocket line shot. Didn't come down. Just boom.
Oh, Dave. Oh, he was a wonderful athlete for one thing. When you're drafted,
great athlete.
He's a 3-sport star, and he could have played any one of them professionally. He chose baseball, and he made a wise choice.
Yeah, for a right-handed hitter, he was about 6'6". Sometimes he looked bigger than that, other times he didn't. But sometimes, yeah, I think he's measured out 6'6". For a right-handed hitter could hit the ball, line drives to right center field harder than anybody that I ever saw. And he couldn't hit it as far as Frank Howard, but he could hit it as hard. I guess pretty soon we're going to have to start putting to left and left center Aaron Judge in that category.
Well, Judge is having a magnificent year for a rookie. Having a magnificent year for anybody, but for a rookie, it's special. And he was just tied Major League home run lead.
32.
Giancarlo Stanton, who hit another 2 at Texas. They both have 32.
Well, the thing I was just excited about too was the fact Ray Fosse, former teammate of mine and very fine announcer, analyst for the Oakland A's. They played the Yankees in New York. He had a long talk with Judge as there's another hard hit ball. So the leadoff single. And that'll bring up Happ, who struck out. Fosse said, Hawkeye said, you won't believe what a nice person he is.
He is that. Back in between rounds of batting practice, where most hitters in between rounds, they stay by the cage, justifiably so. That's what they're trying to do, to try to get their stroke groove. This was in Toronto on the road. In between rounds of batting practice, he would go and sign autographs for young people, then come back, take another round of batting practice, go back and sign autographs again, which is really a rarity.
It is. Guys with 4 runs on 5 hits. We have 2 runs on 3 hits. So once again, trouble brewing.
There's a high change, and Carlos doesn't have real good command nor a good feel for much of anything today. He's trying to get through what for him is, it's necessary to do what's happening to him. That is, get your starts in when you have a late start to the season. But when that happens, you just don't have near the command you'd like to have. So he missed command on the fastball to Contreras, who rifled a base hit, and now the high change to Happ was turned into 2 on and nobody out. Now you would think there would be a bunt forthcoming with Almora, who does have 1 sacrifice bunt this year.
Albert struck out his first trip. If you're just tuning in, Carlos has 6 strikeouts through 2+ innings. So that'll tell you the only outs that have been recorded were strikeouts.
When this series started, Joe Maddon talking about he really enjoys what he sees of his ball club. Now, granted, they started winning as soon as the All-Star break ended, playing good solid baseball, but he was just talking about the attitude of the ball club, both in the locker room and the dugout. He feels they're starting to do what they need to do to win.
Yeah, I talked with him about that, and he said, look, well, first of all, I've never seen a Madden ball club when he was down in Tampa Bay. That might be the greatest 5 years of managing in the history of this game. For him to put 4 flags up there, but that stuff he was running out there every day, he was unbelievable. I've never seen his ball club without a great attitude. And by that, I mean, the mouth lies, the eyes don't. You watch those guys play. You watch them play down in Tampa. They busted their butts every day for him. They gave him 27 outs. 2 years ago, I told Theo, Theo, you just made the best deal you've made since you've been here. He said, what's that? I said, hiring Joe Maddon. Watch how those kids play for him.
Well, that certainly has been the case.
Well, look at our guys, how they play for Rick. Ricky's got our guys. Now, are we short? Yeah, we're short right now. But I'll tell you one thing. You come middle of 2019, maybe 2020, first 20. We got a chance to be a monster.
If you look at the projected lineup, and nobody really knows who's going to take the next step forward, who's going to get hurt. You can't predict injuries, certainly in many instances, but assuming that everybody lives up to even close to the potential, and there's no guarantee that's going to happen, but if it does, that lineup that's going to be put out there in Sox uniforms next couple of years is going to be not only good, they're going to be really entertaining to watch, because there's some guys who can hit the ball. There's some guys with great arms, Hawk, who are going to throw it well. And there you see David Ross along with Theo. David's going to do a broadcast tomorrow night.
I know A.J. Pierzynski loves David Ross. I don't know David that well. I know him. We've chatted a couple times, you know, hi David, hi Hawk, one of those things. But A.J. said he is just absolutely an elite person. He is just terrific.
Well, they sure loved him here, and he added a lot to the ball club, as did the man to his left, who put together, along with Jed Hoyer and Jason McLeod, this ball club.
Well, that's, you brought up before we saw the shot of David and Theo, but you know how I am about when we lose. I don't like it, and you know that.
True.
I can take it now because I understand what's going on. I've been around this game long enough to know we've got a plan and they're sticking to it. And it's fun to watch these kids, even when we lose, because the worst thing in baseball, he gone. Worst thing in baseball is to watch veteran players who don't care play.
Well, certainly one of the things that you have to respect, and there's a lot of people that weren't happy with it, but you have to respect it, is the front office of the White Sox laid out a game plan for this coming season. And even when the team got off to a very good start, Rick Hahn said, we're not deviating from the plan. The plan is something we all agreed on, and now we're going to implement it, and nothing that's happened so far will make us deviate, and that's what's happened.
Russell hit a little Kansas City special double, a little flare in the right field. Avi gave it a great effort, just couldn't get there. Yeah, our guys are fun to watch.
Carlos is trying to settle himself down. He knows if he can get out of this inning and leave the score right there at 4-2, he will have done a terrific job after leadoff singles by Contreras and Happ.
He gone. That is 8 strikeouts now. And they still lead at 4-2.
Today's 2 Sox homers have been a rare feat here in this ballpark recently. The last Sox player to hit a home run at Wrigley Field was pitcher Anthony Renato in 2016. How about that? Last 5 years, Gordon Beckham was the last position player to homer at Wrigley Field for the White Sox. And there you see it. So in 2012, 8 Sox home runs here. Flowers, Beckham a pair, Dunn a pair, A.J. Pierzynski, Viciedo, and Paul Konerko. Ryan Kelly, the HomeLoanExpert.com, brings you the home field facts.
A 4-2 ball game here in the top of the 4th. Moncada to lead it off. Gordon Beckham. One of my big disappointments
Yeah, was a really nice man and
great kid, great person.
Couldn't get over the top, couldn't duplicate. When he came up into the 28 doubles using a lot of right center field, you thought he was going to take that next step, and you know, then the power would come because he's a power hitter in college. He tied for
NCAA
the lead, yeah, that year. I think he hit 28 home runs, something along those lines.
Well, that's when I say disappointments, I'm talking about heartbreaks, because he's such a good person. And his first couple of months with us, he looked like he was going to be a perennial all-star.
You know, I talked with Paul Konerko about it, had a chance to just sit with him at length, and he was talking about Gordon Beckham. He was talking about what he saw as a perceived swing flaw that Gordon would have to overcome. And Paul was breaking it down as he can very well. But Gordon was never able to overcome that for whatever reason.
I love Paul Konerko, one of my all-time favorites. You know that. Yet I disagree with him. And you don't do what he did, and then you watch him for 2 months. He looks like he's going to be an all-star for 10 years. As that's fouled, and that's going to be a souvenir. After his second year, when he started on the decline, and we were in Minnesota the last series of the season, and Gordon grabbed me by the arm as I was walking out of the ballpark. You know, his locker was right there by the exit door, the training, dressing room there, clubhouse. And he looked at me and he said, "Hawk, what's wrong?" And I told him, I said, "Gordon," I said, "you've lost the greatest trait that you had, as there is all four. So good speed aboard, the leadoff man aboard." And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You've lost the best trait that you had, the biggest trait that you had." I said, "Remember when you first joined us, you were having fun out there. You just went out there and you played hard, and hit line shots off the right center field wall. You hit a few home runs to the left, made all the plays, which was a tremendous infield." I said, "You've lost your childlike qualities. You became mechanically oriented. You've lost your childlike qualities. You better find a way to get them back." And he never could.
No, he was a doubles machine early, and then that went away.
When you lose your childlike qualities because you become so wrapped up in mechanics, as Tim can't get it, then he singled and scored back in the second. When you lose your childlike qualities and you can get mired in thinking behind the plate, if you can't change it, you're gone. Seen it happen too many times over my time in baseball. When you step in that box, if your thoughts are behind the plate, you're in trouble. The game is played from the plate forward, not the plate back. He got to worrying about where his hands were, the angle of his swing. Too late. You and I have talked about it before. Most of the great players and not all, but most of them, great players and great hitters especially, they've retained their childlike qualities. They have fun.
If you're great, I mean, you look at Miggy Cabrera, he could hardly be much better than he is, so he has a lot of fun because there's nothing he can't do. But there's not a whole lot of people with even close to those skills, and it is a lot more difficult for them.
Well, I've seen a lot of guys who were as strong as he was, who had tons of talent. As he gets him, that's out number one. And as it turned out, they never had a chance because they get mired up in mechanics. Talking about Konerko, there's a guy that solved his problem. When he first joined us, he was living behind the plate. Somehow or another, he may have gone to the mechanics to get out of it because he became one of the great fastball hitters you'll ever see. Navaja singled and scored.
Last time he was up, Rick Renteria called the hit and run. It was Anderson at first base. That led to the 2 runs.
And there's another base hit. That boy, Omar.
He just waited back on that straight change, and Contreras didn't want to throw it. He went through 2 different signs before finally calling the straight change. That's the one Lackey wanted to throw. It's actually in a pretty good spot. This is low and away, and Omar just rolls over on it, dumps it over the head of Baez at second, and a promising start with 1 out here to the 4th inning.
So here's Adam Engel. If you're just tuning in, we had 1 out. Anderson at second, Omar at first. Went to third on a wild pitch into second base on that wild pitch. So we had men on second and third, 1 out. And he struck out, so we were all doom and gloom, so to speak.
and then surprise.
Carlos Rodon came to the plate. High pop up right side. Rizzo making the call. They can't see it. Drops the. He's out. He's out. The runners have protection on a swing, not on a bunt, but they have protection in that case. So Engel's out.
I think he just let it drop anyway.
He did.
And then, waited to see if one of the runners decided that they were going to either take off or stray off the bag, because Rizzo doesn't mind throwing anywhere.
You got nothing to lose.
Terrific play, especially when you know it's going to land on the grass and you know it can't possibly take a bad hop. So you let it go, and now Carlos comes up.
He hit the first pitch he saw for that bullet double into right center field and knock in both those runs.
Giga Time high-speed replay powered by Xfinity, the future of awesome, and there it is. In the gap, making it a 3-2 game at the time. The first major league hit for Carlos Rodon.
One and two the count with 2 on 2 out. And that'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 4th. We trail by 2.
Report, and it is Clayton Kershaw. He's on the 10-day DL, but he's going to be lost anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. This year at 15-2 with an ERA just over 2, he was all everything, as he usually is. Lost for the 2nd year in a row to injury for a sustained period of time. The injury report is brought to you by Dr. Anthony Romeo, a proud member of the Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Go to RomeoOrthopedics.com or call 312-432-2342. for the Dodgers, they're probably not all that worried about the division as you would expect because they've got a stranglehold on that. But when you lose a guy who was as dominant as Clayton Kershaw and you don't know, with a back problem especially, what he's going to come back with, that is a huge blow. And they lead Arizona and Colorado by 11.5 games as both of those teams looking desperately for a wild card.
First pitch strike to Lackey leading off. John walked. Back in the second inning. Irony of Kershaw, the best pitcher in baseball.
Yes.
And the irony is that they can afford to lose him more than they can Jansen.
Absolutely.
I
mean, that's a for sure.
That's where the game's gone. Yeah. As Lackey's gone.
And Carlos continues to pile up the strikeouts. This really shows you. I mean, look, his stuff is really good. It's a top of the rotation stuff for a young left-hander who's going to be a top of the rotation pitcher, but he's going to have to pay the price of the growing pains of a pitcher normally, and also with the injury this year. You just have to fight your way through it.
So here's the veteran Zobrist, who is 2 for 2. Kansas City special double in the first. Or check that in the second. He had also doubled in the first. He's knocked in one and scored one.
Well, I think Omar Narvaez might be expressing to Lance Barksdale that there is a strike at the knees, and he's not calling too many of them. There's one a little bit higher, but they both were in the strike zone, as you can see by pitch cast.
Should be 2-2, but it's 3-1. So the 1-out walk. That's the third walk issued by Carlos. And a reminder, join us on Saturday, August 12th, as our Sox take on the Kansas City Royals at 16 in the first. 15,000 in attendance will receive a specially designed cap that brings the White Sox and the iconic Chicago flag together. Visit whitesox.com to get your tickets today. There he goes. Got a big jump.
That one tangled up in Zobrist.
Smart player. That's the reason he's on the team. Smart player.
He realized that Carlos was not taking a look, and he was going on first move, so that would have been an easy play to pick him off, except Carlos intended to go home the whole time, and it was a straight steal. You can tell when you look at the base runner, if he doesn't look back to the plate to pick up the contact, and Zobrist is too smart not to do that on the hit and run, then it's a straight steal.
Well, a lot of veteran players who are smart veterans, I'll put it that way. When you get a young battery like Carlos and Omar, he walks a guy, chances are he's a little upset, and he's just going to go right at him. So he's not going to be looking at you that much.
Zobrist is one of the smarter players around. They gave him a huge contract for 4 years, and he's really a safety zone like player for Joe Madden, because anywhere you have a hole on a given day, you can plug in Ben Zobrist and he's going to give you a quality effort.
Yeah, on some of those particular days, he might not get any hits, but he's not going to lose the ball game for you.
Oh, and Joe, very familiar with him from his days at Tampa Bay.
That still amazes almost everybody in baseball. what he did down in Tampa
The accomplishments there?
Yeah.
Well, he did a great job of putting together quality efforts on a daily basis. And sometimes, and the most amazing thing that I think we've ever seen, is they remade their entire bullpen. They went and changed everybody in that bullpen from one year to the next. And Joe Maddon and his crew, with Andrew Friedman then in the front office, he's moved to the Dodgers, but they didn't miss a step, and they went to the playoffs again.
Ouch.
That one looked like it's right off the right knee. Chris Bryant. And he is in some pain. Take another look. This is a slider, and on a slider, if you hit the top of it especially, it's going to go right off one part of your anatomy.
Says he's okay.
Ed Halber going out there. He's the assistant trainer. P.J. Mainville is their #1 trainer.
Yeah, throw him a fastball inside or else another slider down him in.
I would prefer another slider just to test out the knee. I'm not, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, but I just want to test it out. See if he can foul another one off there.
That's the last two things he wants to see. Either a fastball in or a slider in. He gone.
That one was way inside, and Chris Bryant can't believe it.
He gone.
He ran him after the trifecta, 3 strikeouts, and now Joe Maddon wants to hear from Lance, and could very well be that he might get the heave-ho if this becomes more animated than it currently is.
I would be surprised if Joe does not get one. No, he's going to get run.
That's 10 strikeouts. Carlos Rodon. And if you do take a look at, and we will take a look at the replay of that pitch eventually, you'll see that it's a good 4 inches inside off the plate. Take a look. And you saw by the reaction of Omar Narvaez as he pulled the ball back in over the corner that he thought it was a touch inside, and Chris Bryant thought it was way inside, and he gets rung up and then thrown out.
Oh, Joe was too, because you can't argue balls and strikes. He's just arguing why he threw him out.
That's it, the old heave-ho. So they lose a good one in Chris Bryant.
10 punch-outs now for Carlos. Rizzo has walked and struck out, called out on the pitch he didn't like. Oh, that's trouble. Oh boy, Montana. Nothing you can do there. That's just another Kansas City special.
couldn't really have rolled it out there in a better position. You know Moncada's going to be way back, as you do with a powerful dead pull hitting left-hand hitter. But as soon as this gets by Carlos, and because he falls off a bit to the third base side, he can't get to it, and then nobody can. So Yoan wisely does not throw it. He just holds on to it because he realizes that you got Zobrist at third base, and that'll leave runners at the corners. So with 94 pitches, because Rizzo kept the inning alive, now you've got to face the man that has tattooed the baseball twice, Contreras.
One for a 3-run homer in the first inning. Maybe the quickest we have seen a ball leave the park all season long. And then last inning just hit a rocket for a single in the left field. Right at him.
He might have gotten a piece of maybe Omar on the backswing.
Fastball at 94.
Both of the pitches that he's hit hard have both been fastballs. Here's another one inside. He won away from his career high, but he's not long for this game because of the pitch count.
Good rip by Contreras. Meanwhile, 1-2 the count.
Well, now if he's got supreme confidence that Omar is going to block anything down, time to go to that hard slider again.
Well, you don't want to let him hurt you on a fastball again, unless it's way up out of the zone.
Well, Omar's calling for a fastball. Let's see if Carlos accepts it. Chris Beck throwing in the pen.
There he goes. He gone. 11 strikeouts. And it's still a 4-2 ball game.
field. And Javier Baez will shift to third base. Ian Happ will come in from left field, and he'll go to second base, and that means that Ben Zobrist's day is done. No, Zobrist is still around. So because Bryant was given the heave-ho, it caused some adjustments.
So here we go. Top of the order, Cabrera, Abreu, and Avi. Cabrera bounces back slowly to Lackey, and he's grounded out to third. Ball high and deep. Stretch! 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 Zobrist is there.
Only the wind really howling across kept that ball in the ballpark. Normally that is well out of here, but not today for Melky. As Ben Zobrist got back to the wall and cut straight across, and Melky is shocked that it stayed in the park. He thought he got every bit of this, and he got most of it, just not quite all of it, and the wind was the culprit.
So here's Abreu. He was hit by a pitch in the first, and he grounded to third in the third. Bit of a gap out there in left center. That's enough of that, Lackey. That's enough of that BS. You're going to, okay. Let's see which one of your boys are going to get drilled close. Or maybe you.
That's twice that Jose's been hit. Twice he's been hit in essentially the same spot. And he was wearing that bandage on the elbow probably after getting hit the first time, and hit very similar this second time.
You can bet your sweet bippy somebody on that team is going to get drilled from the Cubs.
We'll have to see the response.
Let's see. When's Lackey hit? Not for a while. Or just wait and get him after the game. That way nobody can break it up. Attaboy, Jose.
Jose stealing a bag. And it shows he's not particularly enamored with a couple of inside fastballs, because that's his first stolen base attempt. He just takes off. Lackey's not paying attention to him, and Jose able to beat the play, and the swipe tag goes for naught.
Pick him up, Avi. Slider.
There was a hanger that Lackey got away with.
Two out.
The stolen base by Jose keeps the inning alive, because that's a routine double play, 6-4-3, so it allows Matt Davidson to have an at bat representing the tying run.
Matt is grounded to short and struck out. Gap out there in left center. Want to know the count. Two and 0 the count.
Moncada up next. I think he'd be very careful with a man who hit one 8 miles yesterday, and his 19 home runs show you what a power threat he is. And there is the youngster, Yoan Moncada, waiting in the on-deck circle.
Lackey, it's just a matter of time, buddy.
That one got inside, and
just a matter of time.
Moncada can make him pay the price, because he's not going to be around to hit the next time his turn comes up. That's 3 hit batsmen the same inning, and Ricky Renteria is saying, you know, you got a warning in there somewhere, Lance.
I hope he doesn't give a warning. Means we can't hit anybody.
That one got him right. Looks like the wrist on the right hand.
I'll tell you what, you can fry some eggs on Renteria's behind right now.
You'd understand that.
Oh, hey.
Not only did his big guy get hit, but so did Davidson and Moncada to go with it.
Right here, Timmy, we need a hit, buddy. In fact, I'd like to see you hit one right back through the middle and just drill, knock Lackey right off that mound. All right, it's still 4-2.
3 last inning, and the first one was Abreu, who got hit almost in the same spot as he got hit in the first inning. So this one is above the elbow, and Jose, a most unhappy man. Then the hit by Davidson, that's on a 2-0 pitch. It appears instead of walking him, he just going to throw it inside. That one to Moncada got the risk to load him up, and unfortunately out of the inning with the force out. So Chris Beck comes in the ball game on for the 37th time. He's 1-1. His ERA 4.46. Tyler Saladino goes in, and he's going to play shortstop.
Help. A strikeout and a single. Hap knew it was coming. That's the reason I didn't want Barksdale, and Barksdale knew what was going on. He was going to allow us to have a little retaliatory action.
Yeah. I'll wait to see this conversation and what comes out of it, if anything. Does get hit, but he gets hit on the right hamstring, and he's aboard with nobody out.
And here's Almora. Strikeout and fly out to right. Goes into center field, but Angle trying to deke him.
Cap's got pretty good speed, and he is now 4 for 7. So he gets a good jump, straight steal, and he's in, but can't locate that the ball was out away from him as Moncada kept the glove on him, thinking perhaps he's going to try to tag him, but he was just trying to deke him, and Engel had the ball.
The 0-1 pitch. Watch it. Watch it. One and two. Just tuning in, they scored 3 runs in the first. 3-run homer by Wilson Contreras. That's not going to get the job done. So 1 out. And that'll bring up Baez. Tyler at short. Baez has struck out twice. Godin had 11 strikeouts in his 4 innings of work.
Really showed you that the stuff was still good, even though the location wasn't what Carlos would have liked. So he went to 4 innings with 4 runs on 7 hits, walked 3. Tied his career high with 11 strikeouts in just 4 innings.
I mean, that's not even an issue here. The issue right now is if he stays healthy, he's going to be a star.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
He's going to be a stud out there.
As soon as Chris Beck threw that, Omar sprinted to the mound. They had a very brief but animated conversation, which included both Saladino and Moncada.
Hit a boy, Omar.
He's got to keep a close eye and look back a couple times on Happ. He got a huge jump. Nobody's paying much attention to him because Moncada's the guy charged with holding him, with Saladino playing in the hole with Baez being a dead pull hitter.
Well, Tyler can't do anything about it.
No, he's got to look back a couple times and try to cut down that lead, which is enormous out at second by Happ.
Yeah, Moncada might be well served to give him a couple of dekes.
That was a pretty good pitch. Did not get it.
Well, all it was strike 3. Full count. Throw him a slider anywhere close and he gone. He gone. There it was, the old slider. And tailgate for a cause with the Sox Charities Young Professionals Council. You can join the fun on Saturday, July 29th in Lot B at Guaranteed Rate Field. The tickets include baseball, buffet catering, tailgate games, and more. So visit whitesox.com/YPC. whitesox.com/YPC for ticket information and more details.
Well, you would think they would put him on first base and let John Lackey hit. And now they are putting him on first base.
So 2 out, 2 on. Slider strike. Too bad somebody was on. Meanwhile, we'll go to the 6th, trailing.
.com and click on the game zone for the latest stats and information. Camera, family owned and operated for their 125th anniversary. Camera, where the focus is on you. It's a nice spot. Lots of construction in the area. Doesn't even have to pay to see the game.
There's not enough construction in the area.
Supposedly there will be.
Oh, it's too late. I hear that every year. Well, you know. Top of the 6th. Omar, Engel, and Beck, the scheduled hitters. Omar's 2 for 2 with a run scored.
All of the damage has been done by the bottom 4 in the lineup. They have every one of the hits. Has only been 4 of them. Only one extra base hit, that by Carlos Rodon, his first major league hit, where he drove in the 2 Sox runs in the 2nd.
Well, Lackey's been drilling all the guys up top, so they don't have a chance to get a hit.
That certainly was the case last inning.
That's going foul.
Got to believe that Rick Renteria is very happy with the production he's gotten from behind the plate. Yep. Not only Omar Narvaez hitting close to 270, but you got Kevin Smith hitting 270.
And Kevin hitting 270, trending up.
Yeah. I mean, they've done a nice job offensively and a pretty good job handling the pitching staff, and that's what Lackey has done to this point. Omar's got a very good eye, one of the best on the ball club. He came in 24 strikeouts, 19 walks. The majority of this year, Narvaez has actually walked more than he's fanned. was a 3-2 slider that never caught the plate. So a promising way to start the 6th inning. Carl Edwards throwing in the pen. They're certainly getting loosened.
So the leadoff walk, and here's Adam. He has struck out and he has popped up to Rizzo.
That call not real good.
Oh man. 0-2.
Saladino, who was put into the 9 spot in the batting order, with Chris Beck inserted into Anderson's spot, which is the 6th spot in the batting order.
That ball hit hard. Get over his head. It will. So they're going to hold Omar at third on the double by Adam Engel, and we're in business.
Lackey dropped on sidearm and couldn't keep this ball away from Adam. It drifted back over the middle of the plate, and he put a charge into it. No chance at all for Zobrist in right field, and as you can see, he's trying for the outside corner. He doesn't get it there. Turns out to be about the outer third, and it appears that's going to be it for John Lackey, as he's going to exit this one with the tying runs at 2nd and 3rd base. So as Lackey departs, we will step out. Be back after these messages. He's on for the 44th time, so he's been a busy man. His ERA, 2.75. He's been very good. Opponent's batting average, minuscule, 131. There you look at the whip at 1.07, which is outstanding, as are the 57 strikeouts in less than 40 innings of work. So Edwards comes in with the nickname, the String Bean Slinger. 6'3", 170 pounds. He's going to look in at Tyler Saladino with the infield back, conceding the run.
A little smaller version of right-handed Chris Sale.
He's got the same frame.
Ducks on the punt. Breaking ball, no. Come on, Tyler, we need you, buddy. Right here. You got to get one in and one over. Nobody out. And the count 2-0. Well, he's got Melky on deck, so he's going to throw him a strike right here. Might not be a bad idea. Just go ahead and push a little bunt to the right side.
Well, that would be very good. I love that play with 2 on in this situation where you're going to
2
bring
runs down
and everybody back on the right side.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. This was a 4-for-1 deal that brought Edwards from Texas. Matt Garza going the other way. Neil Ramirez, Mike Olt, Jason Grimm, and Carl Edwards coming the Cubs' way.
That's 2 strikes. Yeah. Tyler was really swinging the bat the way he can. Of course, he was hurt. But when you come in, you know, and scuffling, hitting 205.
Yep.
One out.
High fastball sits him down. Melky came an eyelash from hitting the ball out of the ballpark last inning.
That's the fastball at 95, but that's not the case right here with that. His fastball is explosive.
Yeah, it's very lively. He's got a terrific arm.
So at 95, all of a sudden to the eye of the hitter, which is the real guns, that thing jumps up to close to 100. They're looking for it, getting it, can't do anything with it.
Where Omar at third has to get a good secondary lead. That one almost got away, but for the acrobatics of Contreras.
Boy, for a guy who's a converted catcher and hadn't been that long, he is a good-looking player.
He's got great skills and a wonderful arm.
That's just foul. Dadgummit. That ball didn't hit Omar, did it?
It didn't appear to.
That's a good play by Edwards. He didn't panic.
No, and he looked both at third, which you should do. Then he looked at second for whatever reason, which is not really anything that's going to happen. And then he made the play, the easy play to first base. So he looks there, looks at third, and then realizes that the only play is the one he made. I would be kind of surprised if they pitch to Jose here. But so far, that's what it looks like Joe Maddon's going to do.
Jose 0 for 1. He was hit by Blackie twice. Takes first pitch strike. Ask you a question. When you used to play pepper, where'd you hold the bat?
I choke up. I played pepper. You choke about halfway because all you're trying to do is make contact.
Why are you choking up halfway?
Make contact.
Exactly.
It's very simple.
Exactly.
Jose is one of two guys on the Sox that have seen Edwards.
Two out, 1 and 2. Tying on a second. Choked up on the bat, Steve, because you had better control of the bat. Meanwhile, it's still 4-2.
State Farm winning combination. And State Farm, by the way, is here to help life go right. It is 1-2-3 coming in with runners at second and third and nobody out. Edwards out of the inning. Strikeout, the ground ball right back to him, the strikeout. Keeps the score exactly where it was when Edwards came in the game.
Here's Zobrist, 2 for 2, 2 doubles, an RBI, a run scored, a walk, and a stolen base. Two and one to count. If you're just joining us, they scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second. We scored our 2 in the second. That was a 2-run double by Carlos Rodon. First major league hit. Double was not a Kansas City special. It was a shot.
That's what your first major league hit should be. Driven in the gap, driving home a pair.
He gone. And come celebrate Christmas in July on Friday, July 28th, when our Sox host the Cleveland Indians at 7:10. And stay for the post-game fireworks presented by Athletico Physical Therapy. Athletico Physical Therapy, better for everybody. So to get your tickets, visit whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. Rodon had 11 strikeouts in his 4 innings of work. So here's John Jay. Chris Bryant is 0 for 3 today with 3 strikeouts.
Jay comes on hitting .304. A late addition to the ball game.
4 for 4 yesterday. That's just foul. Played nicely by the ball person down there in short right field. Played it off the wall.
Not bad. You got to judge the carom.
Yep. Game yesterday, one of the most exciting games to broadcast all year, maybe the most exciting. This one today already left a bad taste in my mouth. Full count. For a couple reasons I will not expound on. So here comes Rizzo. A walk, a strikeout, and an infield single.
It's a game and a half, and the boys have yet to retire John Jay one time.
Good lead by Jay. Real good lead. Two and oh. Another good lead.
With Anthony Rizzo, 2 walks today with 1 strikeout. We'll take a look at some of the rarities in the game. You see Joey Votto with 72 walks, 51 strikeouts. Now Rizzo, 58 and 51 total with Betts, Rendon, and Turner. The other guys who have more walks and strikeouts, which is a rarity in this day and age.
Gordon, who's pitching?
Don Cooper's had his say, so they're 2 on and only 1 out.
Back-to-back walks. So here's Contreras. 2 for 3. 3-run homer and a single. Hit the single just about as hard as he hit that home run. Time is called. This 5-2. That was the first walk he scored.
That's 4 driven in by Contreras. He now has 56 of them. So he's 3 for 4, and he gets a slider, takes it right back up the middle. And it's a 3-run lead.
So here's Hap.
Gregory Infante throwing in the pen.
Hap is 1 for 2. And in essence, he was hit by Lackey.
He did get hit leading off last inning.
That's what happens. You get hit by, in essence, by your own pitcher. Foul back.
Turned out to be a nice play, but a young man got it off the hands of another fan. Did all the heavy lifting and didn't come away with the souvenir. And that's pretty nice.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out. 1 in, 5-2 Cubs.
The young fan absolutely enthralled with the souvenir.
There's another chance. Nope, almost in the same spot. Two pitch. Third walk of the inning. And here comes Ricky.
That is going to be it. He calls to the pen. It's going to be Infante coming in. So that's going to be it for Chris Beck, who lost his control this inning. And he will depart, as will we. We'll be back after these messages. card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC. And we've got a new pitcher in the ball game. It's Gregory Infante with no margin for error. Bases loaded, on for the 25th time. His ERA at 4.85. Opponent's hitting .290, which is a big number.
Well, they have one in, the bases loaded, and they only have one hit this inning.
There he is, Big Frank. He's got a good seat.
That's a good shirt. I like that shirt.
Needs a lot of material to cover that large a body. He is a huge man.
Well, people ask me all the time about the Big Hurt. Now, the first thing that always pops in my mind is he played hurt. Never offered any alibis. So here's Almora, a strikeout, a fly to right, and a grounder to short. Line right to him, yes. And here comes the runner. The throw, a big good throw is going to get him. Nope. Off the mark a little bit. So the second walk-off. The inning is scored.
And Almora drives in his 19th run of the year. A line drive rocket right at Melky. Hitting the perfect spot right at him, but a little too deep to be able to get home a throw and cut down Anthony Rizzo.
So a 6-2. And here's Baez, has a hat trick today.
Well, he's been pulling off the ball. He's got no coverage, middle of the plate out. I mean, zero coverage.
First and second, 2 out, 2 in, 1-1 the count. Outfield, about equidistant. A little slight gap out there in right center. And the count 1-2. Golden sombrero coming up.
One more slider, and yeah, especially last time he made his decision. If it stayed in the park, he was swinging, because that one was way out of the zone. That time he hung it.
I'm getting ready to say,
right over the middle of the plate.
He had something to hit right there.
Yes, he did. This one just comes up spinning, and fortunately,
well, he pulled off of it just enough.
He did. Open that left shoulder and no coverage away. Addison Russell was 1 for 2 today with an intentional walk.
He gone. And that'll do it, but they pick up a pair and they lead it 6-2.
Good night for Willie Garcia, who had a home run in Charlotte's victory over Columbus. It's a bomb. 2-run homer at the time made it 5-2. So there are the rest of the results. You see Winston-Salem lost, but Matt Rose went 2 for 4. Kannapolis won. And Luis Martinez, Luis Gonzalez. Gonzalez 1 for 2. Martinez was 6 innings. He threw the ball very well. Our White Sox farm report.
Willie Garcia has got a chance. He's 24 years old. When this year's over, we'll have 9 years experience in professional baseball. He's just 24 years old.
And Pedro Strop comes in the ball game on for the 45th time. So Edwards does a whale of a job inheriting runners at second and third, leaving him right there. And now Pedro Strop comes on. He's going to face the middle of the order.
Here's Avi. Well, you and I have the luxury of being able to follow our kids in the minor leagues every day with our minor league report that they give us, the White Sox. Scott Reifert, Bob Bechtel, all the guys get together and give us all that information each and every day, and it's fun following it.
There's a whole lot of talent down there, not only swinging the bat, but some great arms, waiting for more innings, more starts, or in the case of relievers, more hitters faced. Well, they have a chance to come up here because there's a world of talent in the minor leagues.
And what we can do with you and I, what we can do is we start to form, I should say, from afar, a relationship with those kids because we follow them every day.
Yeah, it's been interesting, and it's nice to see really talented young players trying to earn their way here as David Holmberg begins to throw.
Jammed himself a little bit right there. As Sopers makes it a bit of an adventure out of it. 1 out.
Tough to really see the ball very well unless you get an angle, and he was able to just turn his body a touch on the left side.
Primarily an infielder, so he's an all-purpose player, and it's tough to learn how to get an angle. not going to get it coming straight in. He had plenty of time because of the height of the ball to get one.
Made a very good play against Melky earlier.
Yeah.
That was.
He had a long way to go for that ball.
Yeah, it was back in the 5th inning. A ball that was crushed, but somehow stayed in the park.
So here's Davidson. And the count 1-1. Shortstop. 2 down.
Russell's got great hands at shortstop, and the errors he does make were usually throwing errors. He has the most unusual motion and had some shoulder problems, but as far as hands are concerned and just picking up the baseball when it comes close enough to him, he's got wonderful hands.
Well, when you get a kid like that, just 23 years old, just leave him alone, let him play.
Well, he's going to be a good one.
Let him make his mistakes. Let him, because he won't make them over and over again. He won't keep doing that.
No, that's a very strong young man.
That's a talented young player. Moncada was grounded to second, walked, and was hit by a pitch. Yolmer Sanchez on deck. Seventh inning stretch. They scored 2, and we trail it by 4.
And we'll take a look at 2 more with the Cubs. That's over at our place, and the homestand will roll on with the Indians coming to town for 3, then Toronto for 3 before hitting the road 4 with the Red Sox. See your authorized Dodge dealer to experience a world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. Go to Dodge.com and check out our powerful lineup. David Holmberg comes in the ball game. On for the 26th time. He's 1-3. His ERA 3.83. Opponent's hitting 240, which is good. So it's been Rodon, Beck, Infante, and David Holmberg as Rick
Big
Sutcliffe
Red
stops in the booth.
You got the game win tomorrow.
We'll see him tomorrow night.
We'll see you tomorrow night at our place, big guy. Only man in baseball history to start the season with one team, go to another league, and win the Cy Young
should be
Award.
for you wearing that cap.
All right. got to hold him right here, and this is where David Homer's got to have a short memory.
He's just got to go out instead of what happened the last time he was out on the mound. It's a new day, a new park, and hopefully David will control him from here and turn it over to the offense with a couple of shots left.
Well, you can't play. I'm sure it's the same in professional, any sport. You can't play in the major leagues of any sport without having a short memory.
No, you really have to realize that nothing that happened previously will in any way, shape, or form affect what happens today.
That's exactly right.
And that's, I mean, and that doesn't matter what sport it is or what you're doing or what your job is anywhere.
There's a strike. And the count 3-1. It's full. Russell at double, back in the second. A strikeout and an intentional walk. He gone. 13th strikeout for our guys, 11 by Rodon. And a reminder that MLB TV every night, well, every device. Watch out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply, so visit MLB.tv for details.
And we've got a pinch hitter coming in the ball game. It is Kyle Schwarber, hitting 182. Spent a stint in the minor leagues. Says that things are going a lot better for him right now. And he comes on as a pinch hitter this year. He's been okay. Been pretty decent, actually, as a pinch hitter.
And I'm a firm believer, always have been, that everybody who's been in the big leagues for at least 5 years should once a year or maybe once every 2 years have to go back down to the minor leagues for 4 or 5 days just to get a refresher course on how good they've got.
Well, I was going to say, you really appreciate how things are here when you go down there and take a look. I was sent down one time, and you know, you get sent down, they tell you the news, and it was a major league hotel. You found out, then you go to the airport, still flying first class. Everything is really nice. You get to whatever city you're going to, and that's good. And then all of a sudden, you get to the ballpark, and you find out that things are a whole lot different, even if you've been there before, because when you went there before, you were coming up and it was very exciting. Now you're there again, but you're coming down, and the lights are different and the lockers are different and everything is completely different, and it really hits home. You do then terribly appreciate the major leagues.
Exactly. That's why boy David, he gone. That's why I've always believed that should happen. I also believe that every other year that the manager should have a 5 to 7 day week off, because managing, I'll tell you what, especially in today's marketplace, is extremely difficult and draining.
Well, and Hawk, it's not only the time you're spending actually managing the game of baseball, but you're dealing with the media both pre-game and post-game every day.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that in itself.
That's draining.
Oh, that's
so. Yeah. Give them 5 to 7 days off. Hey, go fishing, go play golf, just rest.
We'll see you in a bit.
Yeah. I remember when we were going to trying to get that club, the expansion team down in Florida, Tampa. Drysdale was going to be my general manager. But there's a base hit for Zobrist. That's his 3rd hit, so he's 3 for 4.
And he's had them all from the right side, where he came in hitting 125. So for Ben, it's been quite a day.
But when we were talking about it, Looked like for a little while we were going to get it. Don went to New York to the expansion committee, and along with my friend Abe Gosman, who was a big winning man. And I told Don, I said, Don, you're going to be the GM, but I'm going to tell you when to take a week off, and you and Annie just going to go play golf, get away. He said, well, I'm not going to do that. I said, well, you're not going to be the general manager then.
I didn't think that the big guy would appreciate that one.
No, he said, well, I told him, well, you're not going to be the general manager because it's such a demanding job. Managing is such a demanding job. And the players should have an opportunity to go back and see just how good they've got it for at least once every year, once every other year for 4 or 5 days.
Well, it left an indelible impression on me, and one that fortunately I never had to repeat, but it convinces you better work as hard as you can to stay. First of all, you got to get back. Then once you get back, you got to work that hard to stay. So Jay is getting an at-bat against Holmberg. He had one at-bat and drew a base on balls and eventually scored last inning. He came on, if you missed it, you're joining us late. Chris Bryant was thrown out of the game arguing balls and strikes. I don't envision that happening to Chris Bryant too much, but he was a little frustrated, and he wasn't the Lone Ranger. There were a few of them a little unhappy with a bit of inconsistency behind the plate today. Joe Madden was able to stay in the game, which is something that I'm surprised because it looked like he was getting ready to follow Chris Bryant down into the clubhouse, but that wasn't to be.
Well, if it hadn't been a 4-2 ball game, I'm sure he would have been run. If it had been 6-2, he gone. 1-2 the count. Take him out here, David. Rick Fuse, boy, I tell you, he still amazes me every time I come over here.
It's something. Fastest hands in the Central.
How'd you like to have had a gunfight against him? You go.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
And Rick Fuse, of course, for those of you who do not know who he is, he's the man who puts the balls and strikes up on that scoreboard out there.
There he is. There's a shot of the fastest hands in the Midwest.
There he is. Fastest I've ever seen in all my years in this game, by far. Full count. Abreu is going to play behind him. Full count, 2 out. We can't get this guy out.
Nope. Having a hard enough time with Zobrist, and Jay has now been on base 6 straight times in the series.
He hit his way on 4 times yesterday, and he's walked his way on twice today. So here is Rizzo.
He's been on base 3 of the 4 times he's been up.
Yeah, a couple of walks, infield single, and a strikeout. $40,717.
Just a touch below yesterday's crowd, but packed all the way around. It's a nice play on the carom by Brandon Hyde. Brandon Hyde's over at first base. Gary Jones is the third base coach. That's a pretty good pitch and did not get it.
What new? What new? What new? What new? That's fouled, and that's going to be a souvenir. Two on, two out, full count.
Here's a man that's had a big day. Wilson Contreras. Wilson with 2 L's. Any way you spell it, he's driven in 4 with 3 hits.
All right, Jose's got him, and that'll retire the side. We'll go to the 8th. It is still a 4-run Cub lead.
Cubs on top. They've out-hit our Sox 9-5. It's been an errorless game. Rodon with 11 strikeouts in 4 innings, but gave it the 4 earned runs. And Contreras, just a big day, a 3-run homer in the first. He's gone on to have 3 hits and drive in 4. Great deals are waiting for you now at your local Honda dealer. And we've got a new pitcher coming in the ball game for the Cubs. It is Hector Rondon. So Lackey for 5+, Edwards for an inning, Stroke for an inning, and now Rondon comes on for the 42nd time. And Yolmer Sanchez will be the first man he's going to look at.
So here's Yolmer hitting at 259, 4 homers. He's driven in 25. First pitch, 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
There's never been anything wrong with Rondon's arm. That's been good.
Rips that one. Watch out. Quickly, 0-2.
Rondon came over as a Rule 5 pick out of the Cleveland organization back December of 2012.
That's a pretty good pickup for a Rule 5.
You're not kidding, especially when you take a look at 29 and 30 saves in 14 and 15. Then last year, he had 18 of them. But of course, they got Aroldis Chapman late. That worked out pretty well for them.
Yeah. Well, every time I've seen Rondon come into a ball game, when I've watched the Cubs on TV, I've never seen him not get anybody. I mean, he's gotten everybody out.
Well, he had
I've
2
never seen him
years.
get hit.
14 and 15. The ERAs were 2.42 and 1.67, and it's not like they were protecting him. He appeared in 64 games in 2014 and 72 games in 15 when he had the 167 and 30 saves. Those are big years.
Just get a text here from Jimmy Olson, our correspondent out in the Great Pacific Northwest. He's from Chicago, huge Sox fan. He says the last Cub pitcher, if you're just tuning in, Lackey hit 4 of our guys today. Last Cub pitcher to hit 4 in a game was my former roommate, Mo Drabowski, back in 1957. But
57?
that doesn't surprise me.
57, that's a long way back.
Well, we still got 2 more games in this series. Yolmer cutting and slashing up there. Yeah, boy. Get by him. It will. So he's on his way to third. He's going to get there. Lead-off triple. Let's get something going right here, guys.
That was actually a base hit played into 3 bases because Zobrist thought he could cut it off and then realized he just couldn't get there. Ben's got very good hands, but not a whole lot of lateral speed these days. He thought he could cut it off and came about that he couldn't. So if it gets stuck in the ivy, it's going to be 2 bases if you put your hands over your head and don't try to get it. As it turned out, it rolled out 3 bases.
Mags Ordonez. Had one get stuck in that ivy. Toss us a ball.
That can happen.
Here's Omar. He's 2 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He did not go.
Like Omar is so used to pointing. Omar was pointing at third base. You're not supposed to. Hitter's not supposed to ask for the appeal. It's Chris Bosio comes out.
No, that's It's like stealing somebody's line. From Adrian Beltre, his first guy.
That's funny.
He's one of the most entertaining players,
no doubt,
in my career.
Yeah.
And a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that either.
Lazio back, Chris. Two of the better pitching coaches in all of baseball in this ballpark here today. Don Cooper and Chris Bosio. And that's out of play. And the conversation probably went, look, we got a 4-run lead. Don't be nibbling. Don't be trying to hit any corners. Just get after him. Because that was Chris's philosophy until he lost his stuff.
That's true.
Then he had to use a little cunning and guile. Full count. That won't make him happy. 2 on, nobody out. And Sox fan, StubHub is your ticket to once-in-a-lifetime experiences, from White Sox games to amazing concerts and shows you don't want to miss. So StubHub, your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of our Chicago White Sox. Here's Adam. Adam had a big double back in the 6th inning. That was after Omar had walked. We had an opportunity to get this thing back in check. And left him at 2nd and 3rd. That was not good.
Nope. And nobody warming in the Cubs bullpen, so at least for the moment it's Rondon against the world.
That fastball at 97. Nine miles an hour. Off with the slider at 88.
Here's a slider that ends it. So the left shoulder and the left side of Adam Engel. He opens up, and when you do that, your coverage is nil.
There's only one way you can open up if you're a right-handed hitter against a hard thrower like him and still be dangerous, and that's by standing right on top of the plate. But when you're off the plate and you open up, you got no chance. Tyler's been to the plate one time. That was back in the 6th inning. He struck out.
I think he's safe at first base.
I do too.
We're going to take another look at it.
It looked like it. It looked like it.
And the call by John Tumpain was that it was double play and out of the inning. But we'll take another look at it.
Let's see what they're going to do.
Time now for our Mazda replay cam. Rondon with an extra hesitation. It might have cost him. We'll have to see as Russell pours it across. Tough from that angle. We'll slow it down and look at it from a different angle.
He's safe.
He's safe because that ball was not secured in the glove when his foot was on the
He's
bag.
safe.
Yeah, he's safe at first.
That's what it looked like in real time.
Yep.
Payne just blew the call. Yeah, he beat it. Cub players, some of them still standing out on the field. Well, we talked about it earlier. New York's been doing a good job. They might be getting that thing refined down to where last year there were.
Well, it is. Look, it's getting better, but I think what has to happen, and I think, well, you and I have talked about many times. I think what has to happen eventually is you get yourself some guys who are doing just that, and let them do that professionally instead of having umpires there.
Well, that's going to finally happen.
That I think has to happen in the not too distant future. I think when you do that, they're going to be in good shape. And they called them out at first,
which is BS. That's all.
Well, the call just stands. That's what it is.
Why.
The call stands.
All right, we go to the bottom of the eighth. We're going to take another look at that thing and tell you just what Steve was talking about, and we've discussed many times in the past. New York just flat blows this one. It's just that simple. That's why you got to get the umpires out of there, because it's a crew of umpires. They go up there, they keep rotating, You're going to have to get some people who are not umpires, because this could be the residual effect of maybe the guy making the final decision in New York is one of the guys that Ricky got into an argument with. And you got to take the bias out, because that clearly was a bunch of BS that they blew that call right, and that's a big, huge play in this ball game.
Well, look, from this angle, you saw the foot hit the bag, and the ball was in the front.
It was not in the glove,
but it was not in the glove yet.
No.
It was not secured yet.
That's just terrible. I mean, that's why they're going to have to get umpires out of there and put impartial guys in there. Because anybody says that doesn't come into play doesn't understand the game of baseball at all. Here's Contreras. Contreras, 4 RBIs today, a 3-run homer in the first, RBI single in the 6th. Last year we saw a ton, not a lot, a ton of calls missed by the guys in New York. This year's been better.
Yep.
But there was one right now in a big ball game. It could be a huge play in this game, obviously. One and two the count. High pop up. Watch out.
Once again, communication almost nil.
Well, that's going to end. I've been saying that for
I'd like to see it end sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
This is Avi's ball. A lot easier for him to catch it than Yuan, but he's new to the ball club. They will eventually straighten it out.
Well, as soon as Yuan hears him, he's got to cut out of there. So here is Ian Happ, 22-year-old all-purpose player. I tell you, that just burns my behind right there. Blow a play like that. Unreal.
And the Sox been up and going. It's Manaea and Goldberg. Sounds like a good law firm. And Manaea on the left, Brad Goldberg on the right.
That's the 8th walk issued by our pitching. Here's Almora, 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. Just got a text here, Steve. Said, Hawk, when you talk about umpire bias, give us an example. I'll give you an example. Let's just say on that last homestand, let's just say let's say Tom Hallion was in New York doing this game, okay? On the replay. There he goes. A possible scenario would be when he and Ricky got into that nose-to-nose argument and Hallion threw him out. You were there doing the game, so you saw it. That's what I'm talking about. And if it's close at all, even though we had an edge on the play where he was safe, that sometimes that bias can come into play.
And so now meeting at the mound. Going to change the set of signs with Cap at second base.
And I'm not saying at all that Tom Hallion's in New York today behind, that camera or looking at that replay. Just using that as a possible scenario. That's going foul.
And a nice catch. That's why you bring your glove to the ballpark. Because occasionally, just occasionally, line drives comes close enough, and you can make the play.
Eighth walk we have given up today. Half of them have scored. And they lead us by 4. That's trouble now. 5 of them have scored. And it's a 7-2 ball game.
Second run batted in for Almora, giving him 20 for the year. It's a changeup, and Albert was on a couple of them earlier. This one he keeps between the lines and just barely over the head of Engel in center field. And it's a 7-2 game.
Here's Baez. Slider strike. Javier's had a tough afternoon.
There's 4 of them all swinging.
One and one to count. One and two.
Swung at a few of these today. Fastball's up and out of the zone. Five-bagger.
Well, is that what it is? The bagger, 5-bagger?
I didn't know that there was a technical term for it, but
I haven't. I know the hat trick, golden sombrero, and then
yeah, hat trick, golden
5-bagger's
sombrero,
good.
We call it a 5-bagger.
Yeah,
they've all been swinging, and very few have been actually in the strike zone.
I should know it. I've struck out 5 times before the game. Russell. 1 for 3, a couple strikeouts and a double. Also a run scored. 15 strikeouts for our guys today, to go along with those 9 walks, of course, which 5 of them have scored. Once again, a reminder, there are a limited amount of tickets for tomorrow and Thursday's game at our place left, so call up and get them before they're gone.
And please get there early. Going to be big crowds. And It should be very entertaining 2-game series as the scene will shift.
That's a high can of corn. All right, we will go to the 9th. Top of the order for us as we trail it by 5.
Zobrist in the 5th inning against Melky Cabrera, who hits the daylights out of one, and unfortunately the wind just knocked it down, and Zobrist went straight back, then had to cut straight across to make the catch, and a fine play. So when you think of garages, think Danley's 773 Garages. Ryan Dunsing comes in the ball game for the 40th time, and he's been very good. His ERA just over 2.5, and there you look at the rest of the numbers. Batting average of 228. We saw Dunsing yesterday, and he threw the ball really well. A perfect 9th inning with 1 strikeout. And Melky grounded to 3rd against him.
He's looking for his first hit. He is 0 for 4. He's 1 for 9 in the first 2 games. There you go. That's a good way to start. Right fielders beat them arm side. Right-handers, I should say. Here's Abreu. 0 for 2. And 2 hit by pitches. Lackey hit him twice. In fact, Lackey hit 4 guys in this game. 3 of them in the 5th inning alone. As I said, we got 2 more games with these guys.
That's what we could use. A big bat. We got a very hittable fastball there and fouled it straight back.
Yes, he did.
And for the next 2 games in the series, tomorrow night, Jake Arrieta against James Shields. And Thursday is John Lester against Mike Pelfrey. Both of those games a 7:10 start as we shift to the south side.
Uh-oh. Good pick by Rizzo. So rack him up. And that'll bring up Ivy. Ivy looking for his first hit today and yesterday. 0 for yesterday. He's 0 for today. I mentioned earlier, though, he's been spending a ton of time with Herm Schneider on that, working on that finger of his. Well, it's hard to swing a bat when you got a bad finger.
Once you get that hurt, it stays around for a while, which is it's just hard to heal.
Oh yeah. Well, you just keep re-aggravating it. Ivy, I would suggest anything close, you better be swinging. Contreras catches it, or is going to catch it, you better be swinging.
It's been an unusual, let's say that, unusual strike zone today.
Our players know it, and Cub players know it.
Well, they were.
It was both sides, not just against us.
Both sides were very unhappy, and there's not much you can do. If one side is doing all the complaining, that's one thing, but neither side was particularly enamored.
It's been both sides. I said, we got 15 strikeouts in this game.
Yeah, it's one of those days. The Cubs had started out with Contreras hitting a 3-run homer, and that's pretty much been it. They took the lead early, have not relinquished it. And the Cubs swung the bat well today.
Up the middle. Good play. And this ball game is over. So vacate game 2 7-2, and we'll be back.